Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Three Guys on Mic. I'm William Joe with my two co-hosts,
Jeremiah,
Little Man.
and we're going to get into a lot this week. We got the Rams and the Cardinals, Bucks and Bills, 49ers, Bengals. We got the Cowboys, Washington football team, and we're also going to talk about the Chiefs and the Raiders and other things as well. Let's get into it.
Tied up by Green, throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's good! LeBron James from downtown.
So starting off with our first game, the Monday Night Football game just ended. The Rams and the Cardinals. The Rams defeated the Cardinals at home, 30-23. Very interesting game, a lot happening.
Yeah.
What do you guys see about this game?
you know what? The game could have gone the other way just as easily, right? The game, you have the dropped fourth down to DeAndre Hopkins, right? You have the converted onside kick by the Cardinals in the final minute of the game, right? So many things could have went their way that didn't, right? Simply. I don't know exactly what was going through Kyler Murray's mind on that last play of the game. When instead of spiking it, I believe they had 7 or 8 seconds.
The offensive line didn't look ready either.
Yeah, 100%. They just let Aaron Donald go, let Von Miller go. Granted, the Cardinals have been in this before with the Bills, right? Let's not forget that Hail Mary, right? So I don't really know what happened there. However, I think it was a great game by Matthew Stafford. I think he spread the ball out amazingly. Sony Michel didn't have that too down of a running game, about 77 yards rushing. However, great win by this Rams team, divisional win, a win they desperately needed, right? Cardinals officially dropped to 10-3. And I think it was a great game. It was a great way to win to end this Week 14 NFL season.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that Kyler Murray isn't the MVP. He was never my pick personally. I know he was injured. He was going through a lot of stuff. But like I said in the past video, the Rams I don't know what it is. They just like playing in Arizona. They came out as a tougher team. And as we all know, when they play tough teams, they always lose. They're the opposite side of what happened tonight. And what they did to the Cardinals, it was just insane to watch. No Jalen Ramsey, no right tackle, no Higbee, all that stuff that happened an hour before the game. And they came out and they shut out the Cardinals, who are arguably the best team in the NFL right now.
I agree.
And now I really don't know if that's the pinpoint. I think I'm about to go with the Packers now. Either way, a great win by the Rams, and they're sneaking up with this division win.
Yeah.
What I saw from this game, obviously, my biggest critique about the Rams was how they performed and how they looked in all of their losses. This time, even if they would have lost this game, if they would have looked competitive and good, being short-handed with a lot of players out due to COVID, this would have been a good moral victory for them. But either way, they won this game. Great, as you guys touched on all the points of the Rams, you finally got Odell into the offense.
Yeah.
But for the Cardinals, I have to be concerned slightly because your 2 losses have been in primetime, at home, and against teams that didn't really have anybody in the secondary, and the Packers didn't have the top 3 receivers. So I think that is a reason to be concerned for the Cardinals moving forward. Our losses are at home. Next game, I think the game that had the most firepower, the most fun this weekend was the Bills and the Buccaneers. What do you guys see about this game?
Yeah. So that game, an atrocious first half by that Bills team, right? Score ended up being 27-33. And once again, it was a game that could have gone the other way, just easy as it went for the Bucs, right? Bills, man, were on a rampage coming back, right? Didn't quite capitalize in the last few minutes of the game. However, they were down 17, and just like that, they were back in the ball game, right? I think Josh Allen, kudos to the kid for playing on a bad beat, right? Playing on a bad ankle. Willie, you told me he was in a boot, right? He was in a boot, right? That doesn't seem too good for me. However, I think Josh Allen, straightforward, is he's not he's not my pick for MVP. Not anymore. I think he's dropped too many games that should have gone the other way. I feel like in the MVP race, you look for a clear-cut winner, and Josh Allen simply, the Bills team is not winning, right?
Yeah.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, I think Bucs had an amazing game, like always it seems, right? The Bucs only get better as the year goes on, and I think we're seeing that them hitting their stride into the playoffs. And once again, playoff Lenny is coming back into contention, right?
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette is having a phenomenal game. I will say this: when you have 2 players on offense that can score multiple touchdowns a game, and Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette, right, both can score 3 touchdowns in a game, it's so hard to defend against that. Little man.
With the Bills, it's kind of hard, but I feel like going in, if they do end up making the playoffs, I'd still be scared to play this team.
Oh, 100%.
Knowing the heart they play with, the way they're coached. Todd Frazier, I thought he called a perfect game in that second half. It's just, I don't know what happened on that last play. I guess it was a broken coverage, but a linebacker ended up on Rashad Perryman. But like you guys were saying before the video, I'm surprised you didn't mention it. It's just, and you too, really. But they ran out of time, like you said.
Yes.
Right? In OT. I know they got the ball first. I understand that. But it's just, the way that it all planned out for them, the amount of heart they played with at the end of the game when they came back, it's just something. I just knew something was wrong, especially when those penalties weren't called. I somehow knew the Bucs were gonna win. But going forward, yes, the Bucs I think are the #1 team, and then I think they're the team to beat right now in the whole NFL. And I think with the Bills,
You said the Packers are #1.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'll switch that. I'll go with the Buccaneers, considering how the Packers played on Sunday night. But going forward in the playoffs, I don't think I'd want to see this Bills team.
Okay.
Honestly.
Well, I can't be mad at your guys' takes. I'm just gonna say it feels really good to be right. I was the only one who picked the Buccaneers in this game for reasons that actually planned out during the game. The Bills don't win close games. They're 0-5 in one-score games. Same thing happened last night. Also, again, Tom Brady, king clutch. What did he do? Walk-off touchdown to win the game. So, okay, well, he threw it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
If it was with the Patriots, you would have agreed.
No.
But it was a really good game.
I could throw a slant too, but it's not that hard.
It was a really good game for also the Buccaneers defense in the first half. They got pressure on Josh Allen all first half.
Yeah.
And one thing that you guys didn't mention, which was actually, I think it was history of the first time in 30 years, the Bills didn't run the ball with the running back at all in the first half, which is a level of concern. Something I said last year in the playoffs. They can't run the ball with the running back. Also, they can't win close games. They can't win cold, or they can't play cold weather football when they're playing in Buffalo, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And one thing before I leave this game, last week after the Patriots, the Bills defense was asked, are they embarrassed of their performance with their run defense, right? They got upset. They were saying it was a stupid thing to say. But against the Colts, against the Patriots, last night in the first half, their run defense has been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what they get so butthurt about. I mean,
And you know what? That is cause for concern because the way to win a playoff game and then NFL is
to stop the run.
the ball.
So that's my level of concern for the Bills.
Let's not forget. Aaron said, he wouldn't want to face his Bills team, right?
Yeah, but
I would.
in the playoffs.
I'd want to face them. Yeah. Yeah.
So going on to our next game, I think the most anticipated game going into this week was the Cowboys and the Washington football team.
Great game.
Really good game. I want to see what you guys think.
Yeah, so my boy, at Ray Romero, Tyler Heineke, did get injured. He's still that guy, rest assured. 27-20. Score doesn't reflect the true nature of this game. It wasn't really close throughout the game. There was that late pick six, a little bit of hope, a little bit of light in the tunnel with that Chet Holcomb. He ran that pick six back.
Cole Holcomb.
Yeah, okay, Cole Holcomb. Yeah, same thing. There was a little bit of light into the tunnel right there for him when he scored. But you know what? The Washington football team did not play a technically sound football team. They did not play a technically sound football game, right? They were at home, right? They had home field advantage. They had every reason to be good. They had the Cowboys guaranteed to win, right?
Yeah.
They had the fire, right? And I believed Riverboat Ron Rivera would fire his troops up, right? Getting ready to run through a brick wall, and they simply didn't. Run game was pretty much abandoned in the second half, right? It wasn't really much there. Terry McLaurin goes down with a scary injury with the concussion, right? He's out for the game. But once again, he didn't even record that. He didn't even record a catch before that, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't really toss it as an excuse, right? I don't believe there's an excuse for this team at the moment. Looking forward, I think the Cowboys are definitely a team that, Here's my one cause for concern. Congrats on the win, little man. However, the Cowboys. So the Cowboys only scored one touchdown on offense, right? The Cowboys, they want to win the Super Bowl, right? They want to do all these great things. Well, you're gonna have to go against teams in the NFC. You're gonna have to go through the Bucs, the Packers, Cardinals, and Rams. You're gonna have to go through one of them, right? And those are teams that score 4 touchdowns a game on offense, right? You can't rely on your defense. Yes, it's a great defense. Yes, Micah Parsons is gonna be the defensive player of the year. However, if your offense is not scoring, you simply can't win football games. The NFL is too talented. The gap is too big. The athletes are too fast, too big to be able to not score on offense. That's all I gotta say.
I have 3 words. We want Dallas. That's what I heard all week. So Mike McCarthy guaranteed that win. It started a little fire under me. I was so happy to see that defense play like that. And I was told that Taylor Heineke was a baller. And he got injured, right? What was his stats before that?
Now we're injury shaming?
When he got injured, I believe he was 2 for 13 and had a pick. And a fumble.
He did.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's a
He also
baller.
had a bomb to the end zone for a touchdown. But I digress. Go ahead.
41-21. Anyways, I like to talk about the Cowboys. I think they're running away. They're running away with this division, obviously. But like you said, you're getting paid all this money. Dak Prescott is talking to you. What is it? 5 years? 4 years? You're getting paid $75 million, and you score 1 touchdown in 19 possessions. It's inexcusable, honestly. I mean, everyone's saying that you're elite, I was hesitant to even call you elite before the season started, honestly.
This man's pressing so hard. His cash out was good. His cash out was good.
But honestly, you're not playing up to your potential. It's hard to watch. In that pick 6, I'm god awful. And Stevie Wonder throws better balls than that.
Stevie Wonder.
But moving forward, I think they're gonna run away with this.
Go. Listen, Maya stole the words right out of my mouth. All day I was waiting to ask Little Man these questions. Is there a level of concern with your Cowboys? Again, the defense has been stepping up and getting healthy, but Dak has looked horrible. Zeke hasn't looked the same. Tony Pollard, he could be out for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Your receivers come back and they're healthy, but the offense hasn't really shown like that. But I think Maya made a really good point. The teams that you are going to have to play are going to be teams that are really good. They could maybe even play the Cardinals or the Rams because they are in that 4th spot. They could even play the Niners, somebody like that.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be concerned, especially when the playoffs are approaching this soon and your team is kind of limping into the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, they didn't have a receiver over 70 yards, they didn't have a rusher over 65 yards, right? Cause for concern. That's all I gotta say.
For the next game, I'm going to go with the Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers. Really big game, was going to cause a lot of disruption when it comes to the playoff picture, whoever won this game. Obviously, we know San Francisco won in overtime. What do you guys see with this game?
Yeah, so, I mean, another overtime game, right? I feel like, week in and week out, we're just getting great games. You mean? Primetime games. Even the Vikings game on, Thursday was still a great game, right? Getting back to the Bengals game. You know what? I feel like this is another time. They just ran out of time, man. Like, the Bengals team was playing better in the second half, right? You had that bomb, that absolute dot to Jamar Chase, right? The kid has over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, right? I mean, it works. It works, bro, right? Let's not forget in April when they drafted him, everybody saying, oh, they didn't take Penei Sewell. You mean, they didn't take the franchise left tackle. Well, hey, it worked out. Hell, it worked out. But going back to the game, I mean, I think San Francisco 49ers were in desperate need of a win, right? After dropping last week to the Seahawks, right? So right? Yeah. So after dropping that one to the Seahawks, right? They really needed a win here. They got one, right? It also helps that the Cardinals lost, right? I think they're not gonna make a wild card game. You mean, like, in my eyes, you mean? But
really?
We never know. We never know in that division, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was a phenomenal game by a well-coached San Francisco 49ers team. Yeah. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is the ultimate game manager. That's what he's been his entire career, and he's going to continue to be for the foreseeable future, right? Mm-hmm. No rush at all to put Trey Lance in. I think the 49ers have another key matchup this week. And I think, Bengals, you had an opportunity because the Ravens lost. If they would have won, they would have been first place in the AFC North. Yeah. But they choked it away. Aaron?
You hit on a lot of the key points, but most of mine are going to come from the overtime part of this game. I believe the Niners the Bengals had the ball in the 49ers 23, I want to say. Yeah. And they didn't pass the ball not one time. Considering that Joe Mixon has an illness, right? And Samaje Perine is just a third down back, really a power back. Mm-hmm. I don't know what made them think. And Joe Burrow didn't turn the ball over one time. And Jamar Chase is going off. I don't know why Zach Taylor didn't throw the ball one time in that drive, and I think that cost him. But one of the most important plays of the game for me in overtime was when Jesse Bates dropped that pick. I can't remember if it was in overtime or in the fourth quarter, but still.
It was in the fourth quarter.
It was in the fourth quarter, huh? But he gets that pick, it's game over. I think the Bengals, if they won that game, I think they might honestly run away with the division. Yeah. Considering the fact how both Baltimore is in. And then, but now the Browns, I think they have all the momentum going forward, especially the big game they have coming up against the Raiders this weekend. Yeah. It's just I could still see them winning in the wild card or getting the wild card spot. Okay. But just winning the division now at this point, it's just like I don't know. I'm not too sure.
I don't know, man. I think, we're going to get into the AFC North in a little bit. But looking at this game, again, it feels really good to be right. I did pick the San Francisco 49ers. The two experts next to me, they picked the Bengals for some reason.
You picked the Cardinals? For some reason,
yeah. I picked the Cardinals. But looking at it, I like what Maya said about Jimmy G. He's the ultimate game manager. Not a slider at all. He knows how to, quarterback that offense. Yeah. And honestly, George Kittle right now is the best hire in football. I wasn't believing it in prior weeks, but the way Travis Kelce has looked,
he was injured too.
He was injured.
6 touchdowns.
Excuse me. I mean previous years. In previous years, I was thinking Travis Kelce was number one, but right now, seeing the way George Kittle is honestly putting that offense on his back, and it's kind of it's great to see. Yeah, in the past 2 games, he's been playing out of his mind, but yeah. I think that when it comes to the Niners, I think they did kind of solidify their spot in that 6 seed. I mean, barring that they don't drop any more games. But I think that right now they're playing physical. They're getting healthier throughout the year. And again, just like I said earlier on in the year, Jimmy G is a safer bet because one, your team is built around. They're not just built around your quarterback. They're built around everything else. Physical, defensive play. Your offensive line's playing great. There's other teams that we look at like the Dolphins, like the Eagles. We're thinking, oh, maybe put in the quarterback who knows how to play. But if you look at it right now, I think Jimmy G is the safer bet. I think he's the one you ride into with the playoffs. Trey Lance, we can save him for next year. For the Bengals, Jamar Chase going off. But again, I did call out that he's been kind of up and down in the past few weeks. In the past month, he's dropped a lot of big plays. Chargers last week dropped a big play. And then also this week, he did drop some passes. It dropped a pass in the end zone as well. So I do think that the Bengals just working out their kind of inconsistent play. I think it's going to play to see how they finish the season. Other than that, I think it was a really good win for the Niners. We're going to go on to the next game. Going on to our next game. Right now, we're all going to talk about the game, if you want to call it, versus the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. As you know, before the game, the Raiders decided to step on the Kansas City Chiefs logo. They decided to dance all over it, doing Corvette. As you know, that hasn't turned out well for NFL teams.
Does not.
And we saw what the game resulted in. It was a snooze fest. Every time you thought the Raiders for 1 second were going to get momentum going their way, the Chiefs took the ball away. Their defense was getting a bunch of turnovers. I want to see what you guys think about this game.
Well, on the bright side, Hunter Renfrow, another basic game, right? Wide receivers. You love that one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you know what? I almost feel bad. I saw a tweet the other day that said that it was, you know, a bunch of bullet points. It was since Carr broke his leg when they're 12-4, it was all the events that have unfolded. With the Amari Cooper trade, with the Khalil Mack trade, with the whole Cleveland fell at 4, right? Like so much. Well, you know, yeah, like
The amount of hatred you have.
yeah.
For that
So Ruggs over Jefferson, right? It was like it was all these things that led up to like what the meltdown, right? 2021, the meltdown, the emos, yada yada, right? And I feel bad because in my heart of heart, I believe if things for once in his life went Derek Carr's way in the NFL, he'd be a top 10 quarterback of all time. And I sincerely of all time. And I sincerely mean that. If he doesn't break his leg, they're winning a playoff. No, okay, you can scoot away. If he doesn't break his leg, he is setting records. I'm telling you right now. Derek Carr is a franchise quarterback who has simply not been able to play for a respectable franchise. And right now, the Raiders in the past, different story. Right now, this Raiders team is falling apart. And it's sad to see. And I'll say this right now. If I'm Derek Carr, I'm going to abandon ship to a contender. That's as simple as that. You put Derek Carr on a San Francisco 49ers team, they're winning the Super Bowl. That's all I got to say.
Winning the Super Bowl doesn't make him a top 10 quarterback of all time.
Yes, he is a top 10 quarterback of all time. We can dive into that another episode. But
I will not dive into that. I'm not going to entertain that. Aaron, you go ahead with your take.
But Carson Wentz is gotcha. But Dak is gotcha.
Besides that blasphemy of the quote that was.
Listen, I'm just trying to get the Raiders fan to watch, bro. That's all I'm trying.
But yes, ever since they beat us on Thanksgiving, it's just like everything's been going downhill. Everything's been going downhill for them once again. With the Washington football loss in Vegas, and then with this disaster. I mean, yes, Yannick Ngakoue is trying to, give his team some momentum going into the game, but you just never want to stand on a team's logo. You just always know what happens when you do that to especially a divisional opponent, like the Chiefs.
Well, especially the Chiefs. Like,
A team who's hot,
a
team who's hungry, a team who's chasing that number 1 spot now. It's just, I expect drastic changes this offseason. I thought it was going to happen this past offseason, but it's like it happened during this season with Gruden, Ruggs. It's just everything that has unfolded for this Las Vegas Raiders team. It's just not looking good for the future. Yeah. But for the Chiefs, they're dominant right now. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Told a coworker, told my dear friend Isaac Ramirez, after they beat us in Las Vegas about 2 months ago, I said, wait for the meltdown. Wait for it to happen because the same thing that happened last year is going to happen again.
It's happened for 5 years.
Feels good to be right. Again, feels good to be right when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. I said they're going to have a big day on offense because the last time they played them, the Raiders simply they don't know. It seems like everyone else in the NFL got the memo. Oh, this is how you defend the Chiefs. The Raiders just don't have that.
I don't know. High the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them.
Talk about the defense. Chiefs defense.
Yeah, Chiefs defense. As Little Man said, I know it feels good to be right, Little Man. It feels good, bro. They're playing that bend but don't break defense. They can allow all the yards they want, but once it comes to when it's time to score for the offense, they just buckle down. They don't allow any points. They get turnovers.
Hold on. let's just not forget they were missing their number one defensive back with Jerry Sneed.
Yeah, due to family issues. And again, a lot of people are pointing towards what happened before the game, which is stomping on the logo and everything. I do think that helped them, but even as Pat Mahomes said in his post-game press conference, he said that honestly it wasn't really that big of a deal to them, and they were just focused on the game and worrying about getting Sneed that win for what happened to him and his family. And again, I don't think that what's going on is due to that. I think that this win, it honestly doesn't have much to do with the logo itself. I think that was fun for us, the fans, to just poke at and make fun of the Raiders for. Mm-hmm. But as Mahomes said in his press game conference, that this win and the way they played wasn't really because of what happened before the game. It was because they wanted to get a win for their teammate and their brother. And I think that regardless if the Raiders stomped that logo or not, the Chiefs were going to win big like this. I think that the way that defense has been playing the past few games, and again, everyone is going to hop on the bandwagon for the Patriots, the way they've been winning games, the way their defense is playing, and that's rightfully so. They're playing great. But as we know, the Chiefs are playing great as well. And again, like everyone's saying, the way that their offense has been looking, but their defense has come up from being historically bad to now playing great. And I think that this week, going into SoFi Stadium, it's going to be a game for the division.
You're going to be there?
I'm going to be there, yeah. And yeah, it's just a great win for the Chiefs overall. Happy for them. So now, we have 2 segments left. Right now we're going to go in and talk about the AFC North. I think that's a real interesting division to get into. A lot of things, a lot of moving pieces going on. Who are you guys' favorites to win? What do you guys see with all the teams going from the Steelers to the Ravens? What do you guys see with everybody?
Now, I'm going to get canceled, so I'm going to let Luma go first.
Get canceled?
And then I'll go. So you can go first.
So I'll stay with my pick before the season. I think Steelers end up last. I think the Browns at this point, I think they'll end up, I want to say third. Honestly, I think they'll stay there. Because I just think the Ravens are way better coached, and I think they just play a lot harder than what they have on the field to show for it, considering all the injuries. The Bengals are just too good for me to keep them out the wild card, honestly. I know Joe Burrow's going to get healthy. That finger's going to get right. Joe Mixon's going to get healthy. And Trey Henderson. I thought that was an amazing pickup going into this offseason. Not a lot of people agree with me. But he's at, 9 sacks in a row, I think? And 9?
He has 10.5 sacks, double digits.
10.5 sacks, yes. He's playing amazing. I think they'll finish second. And I know the Ravens they might be without Lamar this next game. But I think I still have them winning this division. Honestly, by I think a game. I'll take them by a game, honestly.
Go ahead,
and yes, they will lose in the first round.
Okay. The Ravens will lose in the first round?
Yeah.
Okay. Lamar, I give you to a certain point. If Lamar Jackson plays this week, I'm picking the Ravens in this division. But if Lamar Jackson is not playing this week, it's Huntley, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Huntley. If Huntley's starting again this week, or if he starts this week, right? I'm taking the Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals to ride out the rest of the season.
So you think the Ravens will beat the Packers this Sunday with Lamar?
If they have Lamar, it's a different story. If they have Lamar, it's a different story. If they're without Lamar, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. He's gonna get suffocated. Listen, man. I've been high on this Bengals team. I've been high on them for a while here. And yeah, you know what? I was gonna say this earlier on because I'm saying this right now. The Bengals are the team. You say you don't want to play the Bills in the playoffs, right? I wouldn't want to play the Bengals in the playoffs because the Bengals have every reason to go out there and prove people wrong. They have every reason. For Joe Burrow's first year, Colin Cowherd called him Tony Romo the entire year. He got called Tony Romo. I mean, like this year, he's got called Tony Romo the entire time, right? Like Zach Taylor, everybody was calling for his job when you mean from last year. Yeah, they're calling for his job. They're calling for Jamar Chase, right? They remember losing. You mean they remember losing the wild card against the Steelers, right? Remember, like they have every reason to win a playoff game, right? Let's not forget, like the Bills a few years ago, right? When the Bills finally won when the Bills won a playoff game, right? Like that atmosphere, right? That's the same thing for this Bengals team, and I genuinely believe in this team. That's a team. It's very rare that you have a team that can take the top off you, right? That's how you win. Is that you take a team that can take the top off you, and it keeps you fair, it keeps you respectable. And they have a top 10 running back in my eyes. You can put him at 10. Joe Mixon, right at the running back position, right? Like you said, that was it Hendrickson, right? Hendrickson, the DN, right? They have Logan Wilson, the linebacker, who's a tackle machine, right? Sam Hubbard has double-digit TFLs and almost double-digit sacks, right? From Ohio State, the DN, right? This is a serviceable defense. Like, I feel like they don't get the credit they deserve just because they dropped a few games. And I'm taking this Bengals team in the AFC North.
I like, you can't really go wrong when it comes to those two teams. I agree with Aaron, and I don't know how you feel, but I think the Steelers do finish last year because of the situation they're in. The Browns as well, due to injuries and stuff, I think they're third. It's obviously coming down to the Browns and the Ravens. Looking at their last 4 games, the Bengals have the Broncos, Ravens, Chiefs, and Browns. By no means are any of those games a secure win. And honestly, this is when teams, when they go into the playoffs, in the last 4 games, that's when you want to see them play their best. For the Ravens, Packers, Bengals, Rams, Steelers. By no means are those games winnable as well. And also with an injury to Lamar and the way he's been playing the last 2 games, it's really hard to see this team coming in first place. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. Yes. I agree with everything Maya said, but I think if Lamar comes back healthy and if he does correct his turnovers, I think the Ravens are going to be solid. Yes. And when it comes to the playoffs, we can get into that later, but I think eventually their injuries are going to catch up to them. They have how many players on IR? It's like 12, right?
It's got to be double digits.
It's way up there. There's a lot of players on IR. So I think that eventually their injuries are going to catch up with them. I do think they're the better coached team, but at some point it's gonna bend. But yeah, the Bengals, I think you have a fire under you, just like Maya was saying, the playoff win, the playoff record, all that stuff like that. So
especially after losing that game on Sunday too.
Losing that game on Sunday. So yeah, I think they have the easier route going into the playoffs. And now finally with our final segment.
I'm ready for this one.
This is something that we kind of vary on. It's like a scale, it goes up and down all the time when it comes to number 1 team. Yeah. Number 1 team in both conferences. Every week it's like you're picking somebody new. Who are you guys picking for both AFC and NFC to have that bye week?
Anyway, AFC first or NFC?
Who you think I'm gonna pick, Aaron?
No.
Who you think I'm gonna pick, Aaron?
I said AFC or NFC.
Who you think I'm gonna pick, Aaron? AFC. I'll go first, you go second. I'll go first like the Patriots in the AFC with the 2-game lead on the Bills and the AFC East. That's who I'm rocking with. You don't want to play us on a cold night in January. You don't want to play us in the first week of February. I'll tell you that right now. And we get a bye. I almost named it myself. I almost guaranteed a Super Bowl win. And we get a bye. Bad news bears. That's all I gotta say. I wouldn't want to play this Patriots team. I'll tell you that right now. If I'm the coach, my knees are shaking this week because we had a bye. And we're playing off a bye. And we don't lose off byes. Aaron, you go.
Is it in Indy? Or
you go, Aaron.
Is the game in Indy after this?
It doesn't matter.
It's in Indy. The game's in Indy.
It's in Indy?
Yeah.
Alright, my pick for the AFC number 1. This is what they do.
Oh, please.
This is what they do the second half of the year, right? We've seen it countless times. This man is the MVP countless times for a reason. He is a top 3 quarterback in this league since he's been a starter. Consistently in this league. When was the last time he lost to the Patriots?
Who are you talking about? I don't know.
Mahomes.
Oh yeah. When they hit Tom Brady in the shoulder and they threw a flag.
What does Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill do every time they play?
Who has their number, Aaron?
Right now, the Chiefs do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, the Chiefs do have.
Do they not?
No. The Patriots have the Chiefs number. Everybody in this league learned how to guard the Chiefs because of the Patriots.
And what is that doing for the Chiefs now? How many points they put up on Sunday? 48.
They didn't play the Patriots.
I got the Chiefs. Number 1 seed in the AFC. It's happening. I'm going Jonathan Taylor, 150 yards total on this Patriots defense.
Freezing cold take. Antarctica right there.
You said Derek Carr's the top quarterback of all time.
Yeah, stand by it.
With some salt in there too.
Willie, you go. Number 1 AFC.
Number 1 AFC. I think when it comes to it, Bills out of question. When it comes to it, whoever's in the AFC North out of question. I think it honestly has to come down to the Chiefs and the Patriots. I'm going with the Chiefs simply because, listen. The reason why I'm saying it, remaining schedule for both teams, right? The Chiefs have the Chargers. That's not an easy game. But they have the Steelers, Bengals. That varies on what could be an easy game or not. Then they have the Broncos, right? The Patriots lost the game that they have.
The Broncos, who they struggled against?
Yeah, it's a division opponent. So I don't know what that means. But also the Patriots, they also have a rookie quarterback leading their offense. I think.
Go.
Yeah, he's a rookie quarterback leading their offense. I think that's a level of concern. As Little Man was saying, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, who is a reigning MVP, reigning Super Bowl MVP, leading their offense.
They still gotta go to Miami.
They still have to go to Miami. Mm-hmm. Didn't they struggle? They actually lost against.
They lost by a single point in the season opener of a rookie.
So you're gonna use a team struggling instead of your team losing to them. Your team lost to the Dolphins.
Yes, we lost. Yes.
Exactly. So if you want to play that game, we can play that game. And again, by no means, I think it's very possible that you guys get a bye week. And I agree with you. You guys get a bye week. It's gonna be scary for
your
the
takes.
NFL.
Your takes are literally understandable. We get where you're coming from.
Yeah, but it's just that I'm just gonna go with the Chiefs right now. I think they have veteran players. They know how to win. They won a Super Bowl with that squad.
Take the easy way out. I agree. I got you.
So that's what I'm going with. Let's go with the NFC now.
Go with the NFC.
Yeah.
You know what? You go first on this one.
I go first. Okay.
Okay.
This was months ago. Months ago, I was working out in my backyard. My brother comes up to me. We're talking about football, right? And we're talking about football, and me and him were big Aaron Rodgers fans, right? And I told him I'm not sold on this team anymore.
Oh,
I bought out really early in the season. I was one of those people who bought out against Jacksonville. Okay, that's not a lie. But the week after against the Lions, I bought out. I was like, I really don't see this team being that top contender because of the way they looked in previous years. They look good early on, but then they fizzle out. This year, I'm back on it again. This defense looks better. One of the best defenses that has ever played with Aaron Rodgers on that team. The way they looked on Sunday Night Football, when honestly the game, the Bears were neck and neck with them, the defense just ramped it up, missing two of their best players on defense, and they're still at the top when it comes to the rankings. And Aaron Rodgers, as we know, the most talented quarterback in the NFL, one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, if not the most talented quarterback. I'm going to go with them. I think when it comes to their home field advantage, going into Lambeau Field, when it comes to 10-degree, the weather could be it could be 6 degrees, 7 degrees. It doesn't matter. When you go over there, it's going to be hard for you to play them in an environment like that. I think that's why they're going to solidify and lock up the first seed. Comes to Arizona, you lose games like that. Rams, you lose games like that. The Bucks, they've lost games like that. So I think when it comes to the first seed, I'm going to go with the Packers.
Aaron, you go. Psych, I'll go. Discount double check. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. Man, do I have to defend myself? No, I don't have to defend myself. Because Aaron Rodgers speaks for it. Everything Wood just said, I just said. Aaron, you go.
Now, I'm kind of defer for both of you here.
Oh.
I think
Yeah, Bucks, yeah.
There's
Go
a
ahead.
man.
Bucks, yeah.
Yeah. There's a man wearing number 12 in Tampa Bay who is literally on fire right now. Everyone's calling him MVP. You have, what do they call him? Playoff Lenny? Lombardi Lenny.
Lombardi Lenny.
Going off. Arguably a top 5 running back this year in the league. Mike Evans, top 5 receiver. You could obviously say he could be top 20 all-time receivers.
Oh, we're just throwing stuff out there. Gotcha.
Oh, so he's not.
Gotcha. No, I'll give you that.
Right,
a bunch of thousand.
Keep that same
a bunch of 1,000-yard seasons. I'll give you that.
All right. And I think the kryptonite with this Packers team, once again, is this Bucks team. Whether they're in Lambeau or Tampa.
That's not the question. The question is who's going to solidify and lock up the first seed. Now it's the top team.
Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
Okay. Do you think
there's a reason why the Bills didn't run the ball one time in the first half.
Okay, but
There's a reason why they ended up winning that game in overtime.
But you saying that Tampa Bay is the Packers' kryptonite, that makes sense. I agree with you when it comes to that. Yeah, sure, go ahead. But we're talking about who's going to lock up rankings-wise.
I'm taking Tampa.
Okay.
After what I've seen for that Packers special teams and that defense, how many times they broke on Sunday night. Yes, they fixed it in the second half, don't get me wrong, but then against the Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy, we all know him. I can see that happening against the Bucks.
Oh, but that's what we saw happen last year. Yeah, I agree with you with that.
But I'm taking the Buccaneers in the number 1 seed. I honestly don't think they lose again this year. The Buccaneers.
Okay. I agree with that. Looking at the schedule, they play the Panthers twice. I think they also have some other trash teams.
Saints.
So yeah, they have the Saints as well. But as we know, if you want to bring up things, times the Packers have looked bad, the Bucks have also looked bad this season, dropping 3 games. One to the Washington football team, who really how many points did they score? 19 points.
Have their number.
They think they scored
like
19 points in
20.
that game.
It was like 30 or 20.
They also lost to the Saints without. What the hell is his name? James Winston tearing his ACL. So I think that it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams play out. But tell us what you guys think in the comments. Tell who you think is going to be in first place in both conferences. Who's going to win the AFC North? Anything else going into that is a big matchup with the Chiefs and the Chargers. Probably the biggest Thursday night football game this year. Anything else you guys have to say?
Yeah, guys, if you like the video, show your dad, show your uncle, show your grandpa, show your brother, show your sister. Anybody who likes football, anybody who wants to hear a good take, right? Make sure you guys are following through, guys, on Mike. Make sure you guys are liking, showing us some love, guys. It really does make it easier, that much easier to record and put in the time that we do when we're seeing the fans out there enjoying the episode, right? And thank you guys for almost 50 views on the last episode, right?
Yeah, I think you have a part to play in that one.
I do have a part to play in that one, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the episode of 3 Guys on Mike, guys. Thank you.